So Jojo and I are cuddled up, getting ready to watch some Preston Goes.
I'm trying to see.
And eating some pizza, right, Joe? And Joe's eating his candy. So we had a really good Halloween, and now it's time to wind down, right?
Yeah.
Joe, what's your favorite candy? Milk Duds?
Nah. I would have to say something. Crybabies. If you don't know what they are, they're these gumballs that have super sour stuff on them. But in my opinion, they're not that sour because I've eaten sour. I don't know how to say it.
How many Jasons did you see tonight?
5.
The last one was the last one was the funniest. We were trying to show Joe, hey, there's one right there, and he was looking up. And then he was right in Joe's face, wasn't he?
It was the 4th one.
Oh, the 4th one. The 5th one was the girl, right?
Yeah.
Interesting fact, Joe has never seen Friday the 13th. He's not allowed to. But he loves Jason, so.
Yes, Jason is my favorite color.
Okay. So anyway, I don't know what else is going to be on this video. And I don't even know if this is the beginning part of it. But I've got a feeling the rest of it's a vlog. But if not, you'll be just as surprised as I am, because that's how we do it over here. We're going to enjoy our Preston Goes and our pizza. And I'm sure it's not going to be long that I'm asleep. So. Alright, so it's Saturday and we are going on one of our drives. We're going to try and hit one of the swings. Which swing? The Drawdy
Falls.
Drawdy Falls.
Drawdy.
Y'all know we got our snacks, and I got my Red Bulls. And Joe has informed me that Starry is not Sprite. And I have apparently committed a serious offense by suggesting that it was. So we'll take you along. I'll try to film some of the ride. The foliage, I hate to sound like a suburbanite, yes, but it is really pretty here. And I can understand why people from the city would come and drive around here. It's really nice. So we're going to hit Pineville, right?
Probably.
Man, Whitesville, and I don't know. All of these are old coal towns. Whitesville, I did a huge project on it in college because it used to be a huge city for coal, and now there's like 300 people that live there, and there's probably not even that many anymore.
That might be a lot.
Yeah, that was what it was like 10 years ago, so it's probably smaller. I think they have one gas station. They don't have any grocery stores anymore. They may have a pharmacy, which is ironic if you know anything about West Virginia. That would be the last standing thing here in a little town that has no people. Anyway, we'll keep the politics at bay. What, hon?
We'll probably drive across Bolt Mountain, so that'll be some good footage. That's, I don't know, anyways. It's really pretty. I actually, first coal mine I ever worked in was at the very top of Bolt Mountain.
Bolt Mountain's no joke either. You have people here that say, I don't drive that. And when I first moved here, I can understand there are certain roads that I won't drive. There are certain roads that I won't ride in a car on. Jeremy took me down one. It was called Thayer Mountain.
Thayer's where we went. But what's the name of the road? I was just trying to think of that.
Well, anyway, it's literally up a mountain, and you look straight down, and it's straight down. Like, there's nothing there. And we were in a Jeep with no doors.
It's straight up the other side.
I was like this the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time. It was very scary. You guys won't see that footage because I'm not ever going on it again, and I'm not filming it. Unless maybe in a four-wheeler, but I don't even think I'll do that. So, anyway, we're going on a road adventure. I'm going to show you guys some foliage and some coal stuff because you guys know I can't have a drive without that. And we're going to show you some weird, anxious hand movements. But, yeah, okay. So come with us. Oh, did I mention the swing?
Yeah,
yeah, we're going to find a swing. Okay. I don't think we're going to Welch, which is where we originally had planned to go. Welch is one of those. It's amazing. You have to see it. Well, you don't have to see it. Most people don't even want to see it. But I have to see it time and time and time again. So anyway, that's... All right, y'all. So we're just going to wing this narration, but that's nothing new. So not sure why I put the disclaimer in there, but I'm going to anyway. Jeremy and I ended up going to all the places that we said we were going to, including Welch, which I was super excited about. We had a really good drive. This is one of our favorite things to do as a couple and as a family. And now it's just even more fun because we get to do all these swings and have a specific goal in mind, kind of. We did find the Drawley Falls? I can't remember which one it was, swing, after looking for it on the wrong side of the road. But I also know that I titled this with something to do with getting to know me or spilling some tea or who knows what. So you're going to have a little bit of me telling you where we're at and what's going on, and then I'll throw some things about myself in there. So let's see. For starters, I'm going to answer a couple questions that were in the comments. I know I've already said this before, but I had a couple people ask what my new job is, and I am a case manager at a I don't really know exactly how to say it without saying the name of the place, but we help those who are affected by homelessness get into immediate housing. Basically, like trying to find into a shelter, to get into a shelter, that type of stuff. Also, we do assessments, which you have to have one in order to get any type of housing assistance. It's much more advanced than that. Well, not advanced, but there's a lot more to it than just that. We also do like lunch and breakfast. We help with birth certificates, DMV stuff, anything like that that would prevent someone from being able to get into housing. Let's see, I'm on my second week of it. I guess technically third, but really just my second full week. I think I'm going to love it. There's a lot that goes on with it right now. My biggest challenge isn't so much the paperwork or the computer stuff. Like, I can figure that on. It's being assertive and kind of standing my ground. Not that I need to worry about that, but a lot of times in this line of work, you got to tell people no. And I struggle with that. I struggle with being assertive and standing my ground because I want to tell everybody yes, and I want to be polite and like that all the time. And it doesn't work like that here. So I'm gonna have a little time finding my comfort zone. See, here is the swing. It was on the other side of the road. First we were on the park. There's a roadside park, and that's where we were looking for it. It was not very well marked. So we ended up finding it, though. It was great. We explored the waterfalls and stuff and really had a good time. As much of an iPad kid as Joe is, he is just as much an outdoors kid. Once you get him out there, he loves it. Loves to get in the water, loves to go adventuring. It's just he is very well-rounded when it comes to these things. He'll tell you video games are his favorite, but he really does like playing outside. Once he gets out there, it's hard to get him back in. But Joe actually slipped and busted his butt in the leaves. He didn't hurt himself. It was more just funny than anything. But Jeremy found some railroad tracks up there. So he and Joe went exploring. It just dawned on me the best way to describe. I work for a nonprofit. So if that helps sum up what I do at all. I do, and when I say immediate housing, I mean emergency housing. I don't mean permanent housing. We don't do anything like that. We do help people like find housing, sort of. Anyway, there's a lot more to it, but that's the general idea. So on to what we're doing. If you are not from West Virginia, and you don't know much about West Virginia, I have family that lives down in Georgia, and I love them. Bless their hearts. But they have a very, I don't want to say naive is the word, but they don't believe that West Virginia has places where there's still not Wi-Fi, that people, I hope it doesn't sound dramatic, but I would say that people do still live in third world conditions here. And maybe not so much as, it used to be, just because people have moved and everything else. But, you have all these towns in the middle of nowhere where coal used to be, and there are these huge, at one point there were these huge places, and you built these communities, and then when coal left, there was nowhere for these people to work. You had all these communities, and so they would have to leave, they would have to move. But then you had others that couldn't move, didn't want to move. And that's why you get these little towns like this. At one point, West Virginia had, I want to say it was 91% of the state, 91% of the residents in the state lived in coal towns, coal camps, places like this. If my narration is adding up correctly, we are going through the town of Whitesville, where at one point it had a large population, and now I would say that it is probably somewhere around 200. Most of the buildings are abandoned, condemned, pretty much falling apart. You know, I don't even think there's a restaurant here anymore. There might be. I know there's one gas station. Of course, there's a Dollar General. If you guys live in any type of rural area, you know there is always a Dollar General. So it does still have a Dollar General, and it does still have a gas station. It may even still have a Family Dollar, which I don't see those Family Dollars too much. So yeah. Anyway, Whitesville, I love Whitesville. It is in Boone County, if you guys know anything about West Virginia. And I'm going to tell you guys how ditzy I am. So I talk about Boone County a lot when I talk about coal. You kind of can't avoid talking about Boone County. And it just dawned on me the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, it's named after Daniel Boone. Like, as much of a history buff as I claim to be, it just, hit me. Okay, so this right here, it's really interesting. This is the same day and not very far apart, but isn't it crazy like how the trees changed? We're actually going up. This is Bolt Mountain. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's one of those mountains a lot of people won't drive. They won't go up it, and they definitely won't go up it in the winter when it snows and stuff. It is, it's pretty intense. It's got some gorgeous views though. So I do have to say, as much crap as I give a lot of people from the city that act like they don't know what a tree is or what a leaf looks like, I can understand wanting to come through and look at this. And sometimes I feel like I take it for granted. I gotta say, when I see the mountains though, I feel like it's a spiritual experience. Like I look at that and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like it really puts into perspective how insignificant, we are, and in just kind of the grand, I don't think it's grand scheme, the big picture. I just went from thought to thought, and I don't even know where I'm at. But y'all, anyway, I gotta quit with the ramblings on. That's just how it is. So this is where we're about to make it to Welch, I believe. I remember the very first time I saw Welch, and it was just jaw-dropping to me. And it's one of those places that if you like this type of thing, you have to see it in person to really appreciate, like, just the town. But it is almost out of an apocalypse, like, movie type thing, an apocalyptic movie, I mean. Like, it is a huge, for the area. I mean, it's not Atlanta, it's not New York City, it's not anything like that, but for the area, and for the fact that you're driving through the mountains, and there's, like, nothing there, and then boom, there's just this big city. Again, just compared to the area around, and it almost all of it is, like, falling apart. Falling down. And now I have to say, we've got this thing, this ATV trail system going through here called the Hatfield and McCoy, and it's been a little bit since I've been down here, and it's bringing some business to the area. So it's really, really good to see that. I have to say I have mixed emotions. My degree was in recreation, tourism management, parks and rec, that type of stuff, and I have mixed emotions about like Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. Like, sometimes I don't like what it's done to that, and I feel like if West Virginia was ever going to really want to boost its tourism, its economy, and whatnot, that would probably be the route that they would have to go. And I would hate to see all that done to this place, but at the same time, I mean, it's all just slowly becoming ruins everywhere in all these little towns. They've even talked about making lakes, like a giant lake out of all these coal towns. I can't remember. It may be this area. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess the Big Lake's not too bad. And again, don't quote me on any of this stuff. I'm pulling facts and stuff out of my rear end and out of the air. I feel like I'm pretty credible, but honestly, you couldn't cite me. You couldn't quote me. I'm not, so I couldn't even tell you where that came from. I remember hearing that. So where was I going? I forgot where I was going, y'all. We stopped at Dairy Queen this day down in a town called Glendaniel. Oh my gosh, they have the best cheese curds. I guess cheese curds are different than cheese sticks. Oh, they're so good. So good. And then I got a pumpkin pie blizzard. And you guys don't see this, but right now I'm actually counting off on my fingers, listing all the yummy things I ate that day. So we are actually not going to the town of Welch right now. We are in Pineville, I believe. I believe this is where this is. Pineville? It's McDowell County. It is not McDowell, even though it's spelled McDowell. It is McDowell. We also have a hurricane. It is not hurricane. What else do we have? We have a Sophia. It is not Sophia. It is Oceana, not Oceana. So, yeah, we've got some interesting pronunciations. So, a little bit about me and how I ended up in West Virginia. I was actually born in Ashland, Kentucky, but I grew up in Atlanta because that's where my mother's family was at. And my dad moved down there to open up a store called, I believe it was West Lumber. But we ended up in West Virginia because, this is strip mining. This is what happens after they strip mine. My dad moved to West Virginia to open up a lumber company. I mean, an individual one, not the whole thing. It was an individual store called 84 Lumber. So he moved up there, and this is after my parents were divorced. And then at some point in my childhood, my sister and I ended up, one of my sisters, there's 7 of us together, but my sister and I, that we both share the same parents, we went and lived with my dad in West Virginia, and that is how I ended up here. I did not find my love for coal until I actually met Jeremy later on, after I'd already been married once and had children. So, but he was a coal miner for many years, and his dad was a coal miner. His grandfather was a coal miner. So here we are at the beginning, by the way, of the town of Oceana. I went back and forth a lot from my parents, actually really just from my grandparents to my dad's. I spent the majority of my childhood in Atlanta and the outside of Atlanta. But I had never gone to any of these towns before I met Jeremy. But that's how this love of coal came about, and that is a little bit about me. If you guys have ever read or seen The Glass Castle, which I feel like there's a lot of things in that book without talking bad, I feel like there's a lot of things in that book I can really relate to. This is the town of Welch, where part of that movie is based on, and this is also the town where Steve Harvey is from. So it is quite a place. I absolutely love it. I would move down here, but there's no jobs down here. A lot of these little towns, like maybe mile wise, which is something that really frustrates me. You got a lot of these large corporations that come in and they look at West Virginia on a map. And yes, there's a town that's 20 minutes away, or 20, sorry, let me rephrase it. There's a town that's 20 miles away, but what they're not factoring in is it's 20 country mile. There is a difference. I'm not going to say they're quite country miles. There's a big difference, but they're they're 20 minutes of mountain miles. And on a 2-lane road like this, where you can maybe go 55 miles safely, people always go faster than that. Coal trucks always go faster than that. It's not recommended. It's not safe. But they do. That's just a part of it. But if you're going to travel safely through these mountains, you're going to go about 55 miles an hour. There's also not a lot of places to stop. A lot of these areas, so it's not feasible. Like maybe in a big city, you can have, a store 20 minutes, on the outskirts, but you can't do that here. I guess what I'm talking about is a lot of these companies, just thinking about Jeremy's line of work, they want to come and put a new store in a town, and all they're looking at it, halfway across the country, they're looking at West Virginia on a map thinking they can put this one little store right here and everybody in the surrounding areas is going to come to it. What they're not factoring in is that while it may look like it's in the middle of everything, it's not. So I hope that made sense. I realize I'm just going on a rant because I get pretty irritated about that. And then again, it's just, if you're not from here, you don't know. If you've not lived here, if you've not experienced it, you don't know. Because honestly, there are a lot of things I didn't know. And as dumb as this sounds, because now having chickens is trendy, I didn't know people kept chickens in their yards. The very first time I ever saw a chicken, I was 8 months pregnant with my oldest son. Atticus. And my best friend, she took me out to a holler. It was literally a holler out to her mama's. And they kept chickens. And I'm sure I've told this story on here before. But anyway, they just run around the yard. Just like that, free range chickens, anything. Anyway. And one got out and ran towards me, and I cried. I cried so bad I wouldn't hid in her car. And wouldn't come out until she got the chickens away. It was ridiculous. And now that I look back on it, it's pretty funny. But yeah, the majority of these are abandoned or empty. I don't know if they're trying to. It looked like they were demolishing a lot of the old buildings and just trying to kind of revamp the area. They have done a lot to this town of Welch since I've been there. So I don't know how sustainable it is, but I would hope it is. I really hope it was. We're about to see the courthouse. This isn't it, but the courthouse, if you know anything about West Virginia history, is where Sid Hatfield was shot by, C.E. Lively in front of a whole bunch of witnesses. Movie Mate One is based off of it. It's pretty neat. You don't actually, they don't get that far. They just do the Battle of Mate One. Or Mate One Massacre. Mate One. Why can't I think of what it is? Anyway, if you know, you know. But yeah, this is the courthouse. It's gorgeous. I mean, I know it's courthouse, but I still think it's gorgeous. The Hatfield and McCoy Trail, I believe, goes around this area as well, and that's what I meant by hoping something was sustainable. I have a really bad habit of starting a thought or a sentence and then just stopping in the middle of it and going to something else. But if you're a history buff at all, if you like coal or anything, or you just like places like this, I would recommend a trip to West Virginia and to specifically go to all the coal towns. Just make sure you have gas, a map, and you know what you're doing, or at least have somewhat of an idea. But this is one of my favorite things to do, and we've done this I don't know how many times. I can't imagine the amount of miles. I'd hate to count it up, the gas money and miles we put on our car just doing this stuff. I did it again too. By map, I mean an actual map. GPS, you don't have her service half the time up here, and even when you do, it's going to take you on roads that aren't roads. It's going to take you down places that aren't places. Like it does not really work here. You've got to know where you're going. Jeremy used to drive oil or gas well trucks and stuff, so he knows all these little haulers and all these little roads. So we're okay. But I can't tell you the amount of times that I would not go on a drive by myself because there's no service. So all I meant was I recommend it, but be very well prepared and do your research and have a paper map. I don't even have to make them anymore. We went down this road and it's like straight down a mountain. It doesn't do it justice, the camera. You got to see it in person. There's a lot of these buildings up here. These are kind of the conditions I'm talking about. And a lot of these places that you see, and I'm not talking bad. A home's a home. It is what you make it. But there are a lot of places here that you would not think that somebody lived there, that you would think it's abandoned or something, something's happened to it or it's just not habitable. And people live in them. Again, I said maybe not as much as back in the day, but there still are conditions like that. And I think they're more so here in this state specifically than anywhere else. But where I've lived, it's been limited. So maybe somebody can educate me. But anyway, it's still one of my favorite things to do. Yeah, like this right here, burned down. We got a lot of those. We call them bandos here. Well, that one maybe is not a bando. Bando's just abandoned, but that one's a burndo, I guess. Okay.
I'll find you.
All right, y'all, so I hope you enjoyed the video. It abruptly ended in Welch because that's where my patience level... Anyway, I did exactly what Jeremy thought he would do, which was, daggone it, you're distracting me, quit. Anyway, I got restless and couldn't film anymore because I just wanted to be out of the car, but we were way too far from home. Jeremy, do you want to add anything to our trip to the outro? Did you have fun?
I had a great time.
Jeremy had a great time. I did too. Joe even had a good time. But
you did do exactly what I said.
I know, and I gave you credit for it too. He did. He gave me the option. He's like, if we go this way, you're going to do what you always do, which is we're going to be way too far from home, and you're going to be like, all right, I'm done. I want to go home. And that's what happened. But we still had a really good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I've got a cleaning video already done because I'm on top of my game this week. Not really. But Jeremy and I just had to clean all day Sunday because... Anyway, we had sickness go through the house and we were both like terrified that we were all going to get sick. So basically I started from one end and Jeremy started from the other and we got it clean and everybody's good. But anyway, so it was good. We needed to clean anyway. But there was bleach and there was Lysol and there was washing of the clothes and every blanket and towel in this house. And not just because they were all dirty. All right, but anyway, I hope wherever you guys are at, you're having a blessed one. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next one.